financing. Find out what matters today on the Closers platform. As you all know, a show about closers, for closers, and with closers. Today I have Theresa Lentini of Home First, not only with Home First, but the founder and CEO of Home First, correct?
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Theresa.
Thank you.
So excited to get you out of the office and onto the show, and we have so many things to talk about. But the first thing I want you to tell our viewers is Home First a lender?
Well, Home First Lending is a correspondent lender.
Okay.
So what that means is that we lend in our own funds and we sell your loan at the table.
Okay.
But we're also known as your hometown mortgage brokers.
Okay. Oh, slow down,
Yes.
slow down. So I promise I know, and I'm not sure that I've shared this with you, but when I first got into the industry, I worked in the lending department, loans, delivery to secondary market, all of that. So I understand the lingo, but let's stop for our viewers for a minute. And when you say correspondent lender, that means you're using your funds that you've obtained from
warehouse bank.
From a warehouse bank. So you have a banker that you obtain your company's funds from.
Right.
You would loan me money. In fact, you all did loan me money. Yes. I did borrow through, when I just purchased my home, through Home First Lending with Zach. So there's a shout out for Zach.
Hey, Zach.
So Home First Lending lent me money. That was from your correspondent warehouse. And then you sold my mortgage.
Yes.
And I pay my mortgage payment to someone else.
Right.
And so that means you have zero risk.
Oh, no.
No?
I hope you said the truth when you fill out that application.
I did.
So let's say if you didn't, and we didn't do our due diligence to see that everything that you said was correct and process your loan according to guidelines.
So that means like your verification of employment, verification of deposit, all the things, credit check, all of those things you have to do correctly. Following guidelines, checking all those boxes, right? And then you tell the lender that purchases the loan from you, buys the loan from you. Right. Everything's good with Susan West.
Yes, exactly, because this lender in turn may sell your loan off to the secondary market, to Wall Street. And if they come back and say, well, wait a minute.
Because so that would happen if I stopped paying, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Not even. If they try to sell the loan to another lender, they'll do their own underwriting process.
Oh, wow.
And through their underwriting process, may find out that something was not caught on the first time
Well, you just taught me something. Yeah. Because I assumed that the only way you or a lender, correspondent lender, ends up with the problem is if the borrower, me, in that case, defaulted, then you have an issue. But you're saying in the secondary market, Wall Street, they're double checking and re-verifying. And that's right. When we're sitting at the closing table, we sign those forms that says a lender that is sold to, if my loan sold on the secondary market, they have the right to re-verify. This is all making such sense now.
Yeah, so there's two, and just to touch on it briefly, there's two types of fraud. There's a fraud for profit and a fraud for housing. So a fraud for housing could be in the part of the borrower. Okay? And a fraud for profit may be the lender themselves. They just want to close loans and they're overlooking these things.
Okay, on purpose.
So, on purpose.
Looking the other way, right?
Yes.
Looking the other way.
Yes. And we hear it in the news all the time.
Okay.
So what happens is that if something like that were to happen, I put a personal guarantee.
Wow.
With that bank and said.
So Mr. and Mrs. Lopez could be in some. You're putting your. So that goes to another comment that I wanted to make, or question rather.
At Home First Lending, like the whole team is we have about 60 employees.
So you're really, what are you doing? And we didn't talk about this before the show, but what are you doing to vet your employees? Because you're putting some real, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, you're trusting your employees to make sure they're doing their job and your name's on that dotted line,
absolutely.
Right?
So what we do, one of the things that, now before I continue, I said we're a correspondent lender, but mortgage broker. That's how we start things. Is that people found really amazing. A lot of people came over to acquire our company and things like that. And one thing they found really amazing is that even
Okay.
Right. I was the compliance department
you
to
were
start with.
one-woman compliance department.
Right. And now we're ready to hire another one. So we have a group of 4 or 5 girls, plus we have 2 outside companies that take care of our compliance. So what we do, aside from that, they are the watchdogs. That's what we call it. And guys, compliance, people take it like, oh, there they go again, but they're completely protecting our company. So on top of that, weekly trainings.
Right.
And you say you met Cameron, right?
Yes, I was with Cameron today.
Yes. So we have weekly trainings with him, with Christian. Everyone gets involved in the weekly trainings. And we go over, like our compliance department will go over reasons, or they'll teach the loan originators how to spot fraud.
Well, you know what? When I came in today, Joseph and Cameron were sitting together reviewing audit sheets.
There you go.
Right. So you all are doing everything you can not to protect yourselves, to protect your company, and to protect the companies that you sell to.
Yes.
And then they down the line can sell on the secondary market.
Right.
So a lot goes into that. You mentioned that you lend as a correspondent lender, and I think we understand that very well now, but you also are a mortgage broker. Tell the viewers what that means.
Okay, so mortgage broker is a little different from correspondent lender. The mortgage broker, what they'll do is shop around. See, we can lend in our own portfolio, what we have and the investors that we have, but we have more investors in our broker portfolio, which means that, and I would say overall, we have about 60, something between 50 and 60 lenders that we use. So what we'll do with one credit pool, and this is what we advertise to our clients.
Wow, one credit pool, because that's good for me as a borrower, as a consumer, right?
Yes.
Right.
We'll shop around, and we'll shop around to find out one or two things, and we let the borrower make that determination. Whether we can get you the best interest rate possible, because a lot of people are interest rate driven.
Right.
But some people don't want to take money that they saved, take it out of their pockets and use it towards closing costs.
Or some people might not have the extra money, right?
So we give them options to be able to cover those closing costs or get the lowest interest rate. So what we do is that we keep shopping around lenders. And there's another reason why. Not everyone fits into a portfolio. You may have a situation that's completely different than a situation somebody else may have, and it could be with self-employment.
Oh, okay.
So not all lenders are going to
loan to someone that's self-employed.
Exactly.
Or they might loan and have a higher rate or a higher cost for that loan because I'm self-employed.
Well, here's a perfect example. If you have a borrower that cannot provide like rental income, or I wouldn't say rental income, proof that they're renting a place.
Right.
Now it's becoming a little more lenient, but before not all lenders would accept that. So that particular borrower will find a lender that does it's okay with not being able to provide that type of verification.
Right.
They'll use another verification in its place.
Okay.
So it's finding the right loan to fit individual needs.
Right.
It's not just just a loan for that fits everyone. Everybody has an individual needs. What makes Home First lending very different is that we understand there's challenges with each and every loan originator. The reason why Realtor partners, they trust us is because you can have an A, when I say A borrower, A plus borrower, it's like slam dunk is done.
Credit's great, right? Debt to income ratio is great. Everything's good.
But we've had challenges where we help the borrower get to the point that they need to be able to qualify, and we work with them. We don't just turn them away. We say, this is what you need to do to qualify a loan. You may not qualify now, but we're going to show you what it takes to get qualified, because it makes us feel good at the end that we can do that. That's not just that. For our realtors, for our title company, that's an extra client that you have because we took the time to help this client get into a loan that they can no longer.
You think in our world today, and it's crazy to me, Theresa, because I've been doing this title company 26 years, was in lending about 12 years before that. So for us, home purchasing, that just is second nature. We know it, we understand it. Do you think there are still people out there that don't know that they can buy a home, that don't understand the power that they have if they choose the right lender that's willing to interview them and dig down into their circumstance to find the right lender for them?
Oh, no, absolutely. You have people out there that still think they need 20% down to qualify for a loan, that they need their credit score to be up to 680 to qualify for a loan. And there's so many people out there that we speak to that they're like, I did not know that we can qualify. They don't know.
So there's so many opportunities because you're a correspondent lender, which means you have your own portfolio of monies from the banks that you deal with their warehouse, but you also have the opportunity to shop around due to specific needs.
Right.
But all while doing all that, you have to vet your borrowers to make sure they're honest and they're trustworthy, and also that your team is honest and trustworthy.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot that how do you sleep at night?
Better now than I used to.
Oh, good.
Because before, it was hard to prove that a borrower, because if we've ran into situations before, and the question is, did you alter the documents or did the borrow?
Right.
So now we have like these systems in place. We have just invested in a whole new portal that's going to integrate so much. That's going to help the borrowers. The borrowers are already doing it. So what we want to do is to make sure that the borrowers understand that we're giving them the portal.
Right.
To upload their documents, and so there's nobody holding those documents but them and the one that's receiving it.
Exactly. Great.
So yes.
So if there is a problem with the accuracy of the document, it comes from the borrower's inaccuracy, whether on purpose or not.
Okay.
And nobody's interfered with those documents. That's what you're saying?
Right.
That's great.
Yes. And so then now what's happening, and I just spoke to a borrower just recently and said, man, your portal was amazing. It was easy. I uploaded. Everything was seamless. And we haven't even incorporated what we're doing next.
Wow.
Yes. So, yes. And so there's so many things that we're doing right now. But one of the things I wanted to mention is about home buying, for the borrowers. A lot of people just think, oh, I just want to get into this home, and it's the home for me and my family. And I'm going to tell you one thing. When you see a family cry because they're the first generation in their whole family to own their chills. No, I actually had a borrower cry at the table, says, I'm the first generation in my family to purchase a home.
Wow.
But now he's starting to realize that it's much more than that. Now he's starting to realize that he just started his portfolio.
Right.
He's just going to build his net worth.
Right.
That getting involved in home buying process is not just having a house and living in it. It's building your wealth.
Right. Exactly.
So people don't realize that that's a tool. That's a tool. You're investing into something that is your biggest investment that you're going to make throughout your whole life is your home.
And the fact that you believe this and you're passionate about this, and now you have this vehicle, Home First Lending, to show others is just amazing. And I'm so glad that you took the time to come on the show today.
Thank
and
you.
we're going to back up just for a minute.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about Theresa as a little girl. You grew up where?
I grew up in New York.
New York.
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens.
Okay. And mom was?
My mom was from Puerto Rico. She actually went to New York at the age of 16. And my dad, Italian.
Okay.
He was actually in a foster home. He has a very sad story, and was raised. We just talked about it a little earlier, where he's Northern Italian. All this time I thought I was like Southern, like a Sicilian. He was raised by a Sicilian family, which is probably, I don't know. I probably carry some of those traits.
Yeah. It happens.
Yes,
it happens.
yes. So he, so we just found out where he's from exactly, which is, thank you, Ancestry.
That's good. That's cool. So you've learned a lot about yourself recently?
Yes, and I connected with his sister, his people from his, I wish he was alive to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did your dad pass away?
He passed away about 4 years ago.
Okay, 4 years ago. And mom?
My mom passed away around 6 years ago.
Okay, all right. So sorry about that. So you have a legacy to carry on from you. Like, you're in charge of this.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's so important. And speaking of in charge of legacy, you and Pablo have been married how long?
My husband and I were married for 33 years
33
now.
years.
Yes.
33 years. And you have how many children?
We have three. 5 grandchildren.
5 grandchildren. Wow, that's amazing. I have one. It's going to take a while to catch up. They keep you busy. And you and Pablo have seen some success. And some down times, and I was going to say failures, but I'm not sure that that's a good way to describe them.
You could only learn from anything that happens in your life.
So before September 11th, let's talk about that. Give me an idea of the great times that you had in your family.
So my husband and I, we had a car dealership in New York. My husband has always been an entrepreneur since he was 21 years old.
Okay.
I worked in
Right.
And so
you made
And he's like, let's go, go, go.
Yeah.
So
that's the reason why you're the compliance officer.
Oh, yeah. So what we did was that we started, we had a car dealership in New York, and then we started renting the dealership out, and because we found an opportunity with the internet business.
Right.
We were the #1 store in Yahoo. It was we were doing very well, which moved us to Florida.
Wow.
Actually, because we started out in the garage of my house. We needed a warehouse. We were we're growing and growing, so we moved our business to Florida.
And what were you selling?
We were selling appliances, home care, like anything that you can buy when you go to Bed and Bath. Like anything that you can buy when you go to Best Buy. Okay. We had it all.
So you had a warehouse with those things in it.
Yes.
And you would sell them on the internet.
Right.
And you were a top client. Explain that again.
I'm sorry?
You were a top client of.
So Yahoo at that time has stores.
Okay.
And we were the top rated store in Yahoo at that time.
Wow.
So from there, we moved to Florida in the beginning of January.
Orlando?
Yeah, north of Orlando, Lake Mary.
Lake Mary, okay.
So from there, and you're talking about January, September 11 came that same year.
Wow.
And we just pretty much lost everything. Without getting too much into details, we lost everything. Our savings, everything. And it was really a sad time because my kids were becoming teenagers, and
and they were used to living a certain way.
They were living. They never knew what it was to struggle.
Right.
And it was a point in their lives when their friends are wearing all these nice clothes and they're going out. And I pretty much didn't even have if I can get to Dunkin' Donuts, it was the highlight of my day.
Wow.
But my husband and I continued finding ways. Like, what are we going to do? My credit took a dive.
Right.
It was horrible. And we got together and we started to realize that people that were coming to us to repair their credit, because we learned how to repair credit.
Right. All right.
They wanted
so let me back up there. So
talking about
you are good.
Yeah.
You are good.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
So
we're going to take our challenge and we're going to perfect this for ourselves, and then we're just doing it for other people.
Right. And at the same time, the property we had in New York that was the car dealership was on, we were selling that property.
Okay.
And that property is basically what helped us. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we learned how to repair credit, and I was trying to learn the mortgage business. I mentioned that there was a company up in Jacksonville from Lake Mary in a car that barely had gas in it. I remember one time they had to meet us to help us get to the place, but I was determined, and it wasn't working. I wasn't getting the training that I was expecting. Right. So I started to train myself. And my husband got 8 people. We said, do you want to learn the mortgage business? We could teach you, because it was big and going, at that point. Right. And they said, sure. Right. So it was like, come on over. So we
at the dining room table.
Well, we rented one day the Kinko's, I'll never forget. And we only had enough money, $26 to rent the Kinko's. Okay. And we had money to buy Dunkin' Donuts with coffee and to make flyers. My kids, in order to eat, they had to be there and give out flyers, and then they could serve some Dunkin' Donuts for them. That's how crazy it got for me. And so
you were struggling.
We were struggling because we also were getting rent from the property, but the guy won't wait. He'll wait 3 months before giving us a rent in one lump sum.
Because he was struggling too.
Yes. So what we did was that we couldn't afford Kinko's. We got everybody on the living room, on my dining room table, and I would go, and I kid you not, I would learn a topic, how to do a 1003. How to, a loan
mortgage
application. That's a loan application, yes. And the next day I would teach the class.
Wow.
And it was funny because I kept teaching them new things. Well, that's not fair. You know this and we don't. And I'm like, my knowledge is a day older than yours.
Right, exactly.
But
did you tell them that?
No. They didn't need to know.
Confidence. And so that goes to show, and I think that's important for the viewers to hear, there's a difference between being disgenuine or dishonest and learning the topic, credit repair, 1003, whatever you're learning, and putting your game face on for the good of your family and the people in front of you. So you were legitimately teaching them. You just weren't telling them how long you had known yourself.
I did them no wrong because I didn't say that I did know it. I just taught the class.
Exactly.
So they didn't need to know. They figured it out later on down the road. I think now. Maybe now today some will figure it out, but
right now,
yeah. But I kept going, and we kept learning. And my husband and I realized we were in a little tiny room where we have the dining room, and he was getting the loans, and I was processing the loans. And you know what? This girl, and actually she reminds me a lot of you. If you were to see her, you guys would be, look like sisters. And her name was Sharon from one of the title companies, and this is why title companies will always be dear to me.
Right.
I did not know how to order. I didn't know what to order. to process a loan.
Right.
So I called her up. I said, listen, I'm new at this. I've never done this before. I need your help.
Right.
And I said, I don't know what to
you're
order.
vulnerable.
Yes.
Another quality.
Yeah.
Right.
And I told her, I said, I don't even know the first thing to do when ordering title. She led me through it. I took notes. And the first loan that I did, I got a processing award for it.
Oh, wow.
First loan.
Wow.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so all these things did help, you know, get us, learn. Not use, I would say I would ask for the help. I would ask for the help, and to this day, and we're talking about Home First Lending almost 15 years, I still thank her for what she's done.
Because you remember.
I remember, I never forget.
That is so important for the viewers to hear too. You need to remember where you came from, loyalty. There's so many nuggets, and that's what I love about doing the Closers platform, Theresa, is there's so many opportunities for people to learn, even if somebody just takes away the nugget of you can put your game face on. As long as you know it, sometimes it's just game face.
But it doesn't end there.
Right.
It doesn't end there. That's when I started to believe in title company and understand. But Susan, your company, one of the things that when I say I develop a relationship, there has to be something real there.
Right.
And the reason why we're here today, not because you just invited, because you know I've been invited to do things like this before. It's not that. It's the fact that I believe in companies that actually are not looking just to make a profit.
Right.
They're looking to help other people. And when we've come to you with different situations, and there was a situation not too long ago that I had you personal, and you know, to ask you questions and to help you guide me the right way, I didn't feel a hesitation. Fidelity, you and your team, Susan, you guys were there to help us through a difficult problem that we're trying to deal with.
Right.
So those things mean something to me.
Yes, they do. And the genuine relationship, and I'd say both Theresa and myself share this in common, which is we don't have to be doing the deal to help you with the transaction.
Correct.
Our knowledge is something that we're so willing to share, even when there's not immediate gain. I was with Beth Woodhall, and Beth spoke at the Real Produce Masterclass, and one of the things she talked so eloquently about was the long game.
Right.
You know, we're in this for the long, for the immediate gain. Is part of it, right?
And it's not just us, it's helping our clients. There have been clients that I've helped, and I've even said this, if you're shopping around and you're going to another lender, and that's who you feel comfortable with, you can still ask me questions.
Right.
It's not about the money to me.
Right.
Yeah, and let's so say we all doing this. We're making a living, right?
Right.
But it can't be all about that.
We all need more than Dunkin' Donuts,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
We all need more than
yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts. And what I love about you, and I hope everybody's looking at doing some things where Home First has been involved, specifically Theresa, you've been involved, and you all have done an amazing job branding your company, branding yourself. There you are speaking. Where are you speaking there? Is that in the office?
That's my office.
In your office. In your office, speaking, educating, trying to help people. And talk to me about you're a business woman. Look at that. What are you doing there, by the way?
We're in a charity for firefighters that was really good. We just did this Sunday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
This is the breast cancer walk we had in Lake Eola.
Could I make a special request? If you ever do a fireman's fundraiser again, could I be invited to the fireman's fundraiser?
100%.
Okay.
100%. This is the second time we've done it. With Voyage Retirement Solutions, they're the wealth management, and we decided to go with them because firemen do risk their lives for us.
Right.
And there's a special need, and especially we think about them, first responders, when something is going wrong. They need our assistance. So absolutely 100% you.
Good.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Mia, are you hearing this, Mia? Make sure that Susan's on
the list.
Oh, there you go.
On the invite
list. Yes, let's get Susan on that list, please.
Get me on the list. Get me on the list. So, you've seen success. You've seen difficult times.
Oh, yes.
You have persevered through it all. And you're teaching others. You've taught your family that they can go from having much to having little to working hard.
Right.
And now all three of your children, I would suggest that, Theresa, do you look back and say thank you for the dip in the market. Thank you for the
100%.
loss
100%.
because your family gained so much.
Yes, my kids learned that the money is to be respected. You can't. It doesn't come easy. It's a lot of hard work. You know, even when I started to do better, I said, I'm not buying you a car. You're gonna save up the other half. I'm gonna, you know, and I'll match it or what. I did one of those, and it worked. One.
Yes.
The other one, you'll probably meet at our fireman's event.
Oh, good.
The next year,
Perfect.
met him. Yeah.
Good.
And then my daughter started Joy Bound Apparel, which that was another story. But the hardworking kids, and yeah, I don't regret it a bit, and I'm sure they don't either because they realize that it's hard work. Mommy and Daddy didn't do it for them; they did it on their own.
But Mommy and Daddy did it with them, right?
Them, yes.
And they did it with Mommy and Daddy to make a difference. So such a wonderful, wonderful story that you have there. So what is next? What can we count on seeing from Theresa and Home First, or Theresa separate from Home First?
Well, Theresa, you're going to see a little bit more of me.
Okay.
I'm going to get more involved because I realize that there's changes in the industry and we're in a fight right now.
Right.
And I want to make sure that fight, that I'm at forefront, ready to go. I'm not backing down.
Right.
And everything that I bought to start this company, my husband and I, is the exact energy that I'm going to bring in to make sure that we go up against Goliath and we go up against those people that are saying, you know, we're taking over. Home First is there to fight along with our partners to make sure that doesn't happen.
And our partners and clients, right? You fight for your clients, right?
We have to.
Right.
We don't understand. You know, one thing I don't think people realize the severity of what's going on right now. And I'm not against Amazon. I buy Amazon, right?
Right.
But if we put all our retail businesses out of business because we're saving $1 on an item,
right,
who's going to be the king and predicting the prices of everything that's being sold? We have to make sure that these our retailers stay in business. We have to make sure. Don't think just of yourself and that dollar that you're saving. Get out there and support your local businesses.
Right.
Because your child needs a job. Okay, and if, for instance, if you're doing a mortgage or if you're selling something, what are they going to do to buy what you're selling if they're out of business themselves?
Right.
It's a domino effect.
Right.
And it's happening right now with the mortgage industry. Okay, so one of the things that I want to bring out is that if we don't do something about it, it's not just affecting us as our business.
Right.
It's affecting each and every householder.
Right.
And we have to put the message out there.
Because you've demonstrated you can reinvent yourself, right?
Absolutely.
You absolutely can, and you have. So this is about protecting the client, protecting our communities, and making sure people understand. And we thought that we'd have all this time to talk to about so many other things, and we've already been on this show for 26 or 27 minutes. Yes, absolutely. So many other things for us to talk about. The fact that we're business women, the fact that we're similar in age.
Yes.
And there's a lot that Theresa and I have to say to women our ages, to women younger than us, to professional men, you know, speaking of integrity, raising children, who we are now, how we continue to stay relevant in both of our worlds, right? So many things. I know that you have MBRAG, that's something that I wanted you to be able to talk about briefly today as well. So if you had a couple of things that you wanted to make sure our viewers know before we exit this show, and we'll come back again, what would the couple of things be, Theresa?
Okay, so one thing I want everyone to know is that when the housing bubble bursted, okay, a lot of mortgage brokerage companies went out of business. Right. And the reason why that happened for me, as far as I'm concerned, is that a lot of mortgage broker business, anybody can open up a shop. Right. Your grandmother could open up a shop. Anybody can. But regulators came in and put a kibosh on that. Right. However, Home First Lending continued going. Right. And we had our challenges, but one of the things is that we didn't gouge our clients. Right. That's one thing. And number two is that we did have a compliance department. I have someone that came after me.
You're so proud. You're so proud.
Super proud.
Yeah.
They came after me and they said, well, these loans are bad. I'm like, really? I did a forensic audit myself. My attorney could not believe it. Right. They had to drop it. Right. And that's how crazy it is. So those bad loans that came into effect during that time didn't have to do with us. Right. You know, so we did everything we could. And I'm not saying that everybody was scrupulous, like in the industry. Right. We had over 700 employees. Not everybody's going to do what they were supposed to do. Right. In those days. But we did everything we can to stop it from getting worse. To protect our clients, to protect our investors. Think about it. We have to protect our investors, correct?
Right.
So, that's just one of the things I did want to bring out about Home First Lending is that while everyone was closing our doors, while everyone has just opened their doors,
You've been open. You've remained open
throughout that whole.
And you've remained compliant. You've remained really customer focused.
Right.
And you've also been able to, again, I believe, and I was speaking with my bosses yesterday, one of the things that makes us continue to be successful, I've been doing this in this title company for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
Is that no matter what comes our way, we're able to pivot and make the changes we need to make while sticking to our foundation. And one of the things that you and I both believe, I tell people every day, I need to be a good steward of the money that I'm responsible for our shareholders, for our clients. It's more than about you and me.
And our clients have to be protected throughout the whole process.
Absolutely.
It should be our number one concern.
It is your number one concern.
Yes.
And that's what you're teaching others, right? We definitely need to teach others how to do that. And our legacies will live on.
Yes.
But our days aren't done, are they?
No, it's not. And, I was reading a book just recently, and it talked about there's no such thing as a quantum leap.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a millionaire. I went to a conference in Vegas not too long ago, and everyone, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, everyone was there and jumping up and down and having party, getting off the plane, ready to party. The faces completely changed on the way back home.
Right.
Okay? There's no such thing as hard work.
Right.
It's hard work and integrity.
Right.
And I don't want to throw that word out loosely.
Right.
There's some meaning behind that word. You stand by what you say.
Right.
You do what's right, and you do the right thing. Or that's one of our core values, do the right thing.
How'd you look getting back on the plane?
I was great. I was great. I went shopping.
Yeah, that's another story. We need to teach people when to switch to water, right?
Yes.
And teach people when to gamble and when to shop.
Yes. No, I went there for business.
We could start The View. What do you think, Theresa?
I think it would be great.
We'll call it something besides The View, but it takes years, right? Years to accomplish what it's not an overnight success.
No, it is not. It's hard work, and there was a self-made millionaire. It was like he was in his early 20s that he says something that always stayed with me, and he may have got it from somebody else, I don't know.
Right.
He said that leisure is the downfall of success.
Right.
Wait, don't take it easy.
Yeah, don't rest on it.
No, don't rest, because somebody that's hungry with that same hunger that I had when I first started, when I lost everything, if I don't keep that same hunger that I had back then, somebody that's hungry is right behind me.
And we could talk about that too. Anxiety is you can turn it into a forward propelling motion, or you can make you retreat and depress.
You have a choice.
You have a choice. But I'd say this, and we'll end the show today with this. We never stand still. We're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. So today, together, Theresa and I, on the Closers platform, a show for closers, about closers, with closers. Thank you for watching. Feel free to reach out to Theresa. Her contact information has been on the screen throughout the show today. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share. Feel free to engage, and we will engage back. I will see you next time, next Thursday, same place, same time, with a new guest. Thank you so much for watching today.